Welcome to Beyond the Diet. This is your space to transform your relationship with weight, food, and the changes that come with each stage of your life, so you move through womanhood embodying your feminine strength and radiance. Led by me, Audrey.
And me, Christina. We are your weight, wellness, and women's health guides and coaches. This channel gives you practical tips, holistic practices, and transformational insights to help you release that stubborn weight naturally and easily.
Improve your digestion and metabolism.
Balance your hormones.
Implement holistic practices for stress relief, energy, women's health, and balance.
And we ultimately help you step into your power as the vibrant, unstoppable woman you were always meant to be.
Join us to learn about listening to your body, eating with awareness, and living in a way that supports your unique stage of womanhood.
Every week you'll find empowering videos on weight loss, women's health, yoga, Ayurveda, and the lifestyle shifts that are designed to help you feel at home in your body again.
This is your invitation to step into womanhood differently. This is Yoga to Transform.
Let's start having this conversation about the hunger reflex and how we can really reattune back into it and build a better, healthier relationship with it. Now, when we're working with our clients, one of the first questions that we tend to get asked is, what should I eat?
Yeah. Or even before that, how can I lose some weight?
Yeah. How can I lose some weight? And it's all about my food, and I've got to stop eating all this bad food, right? Now, that what you need to realize when you ask that question about what should I be eating is that you're actually asking a really soulful question. So you are asking about something really soulful in terms of how you nourish yourself from the outside in. And I want you to, if you haven't already, because this links really strongly, the hunger reflex conversation links really strongly to the Agni conversation that we had last month. So please go back if you haven't and watch the Agni conversation, because when we build our digestive fire, when we build our metabolism, we are building our hunger reflex. And it's so important. We always start in this place of building the fire within so that you can digest not only the food, but the life that you're living and the life that you have lived. Some of us have some ghosts we need to be digesting. So when you ask the question, what should I be eating? We want to encourage you to ask an even deeper question and to move beyond what should I be eating and asking yourself, how hungry am I? How hungry am I? And this conversation today, we're delving deep into this realm of hunger, and not only the physical hunger of, okay, I need to eat a banana, but also the spiritual hunger. And we'll be presenting hunger as more than just a concept of eating the food that you eat to nourish yourself, because it's a multidimensional experience. It encompasses your hunger to learn, your hunger to love, your hunger to create, your hunger to engage with life itself. So it's soul hunger.
Yeah. It's your whole life. It's how you absorb your life, really, isn't it? All the things.
How hungry you are for your life. Like, do you wake up in the morning like, boom, I'm ready to go? Or are you like, oh, hit the snooze button because I really don't want to move out of bed because I'd rather be in bed than live this life that I've been given. So, and like I said, it's a deeper desire for fulfillment and purpose, and it is directly linked to your Agni, to the fire in your belly. So ask yourself this really simple question. And on every level, how hungry are you? So, how hungry are you? Do you have a relationship to the hunger force inside of you? Right? And the other sacred question that you can be asking yourself in terms of your metabolism is your soul level metabolism. So there's the physical metabolism. Am I hungry to eat something? That we'll talk about soon in terms of how we may be disconnected from that. But then there's the soul level question. Am I hungry to learn? Am I hungry to love? Yeah. Am I hungry to create? Am I hungry to get up in the morning and live my life? Am I hungry to go to work? Am I hungry? Like, am I like, yeah, bring it on? And I remember when I worked in the corporate world, we do recruitment, and we wanted to recruit people who were hungry. Yeah. And not like, oh, I'm starving, but hungry as in they wanted to prove themselves, make a go of life, turn up and give their best every single day. And that's what we mean when we talk about soul hunger, right? So here's the thing. If you're listening to me say, are you hungry to live and learn and create? And you're like, no, actually, Audrey and Christina, I'm not. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally okay. We hear you and we hold you, and it's a loving space, and we want you to know that you're at home, right? Because we've been there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's not always all the time, is it? We're not always.
No.
Yeah.
No. And there have been moments in my life where I've been heavily fatigued, heavily depressed, and seriously, the fire in my belly was not burning brightly, and I was definitely not hungry.
Yeah, I've had a few times when I couldn't get off the couch, you know. Yeah.
So we get it. You're at home, you're with soul sisters, it's okay. But if you are lacking some soul hunger, then slice up a little lemon, yeah, or a little ginger, put a little rock salt, squeeze some lemon on it, and eat that before your meals. Why? Because this is a fire starter. It starts the metabolism burning. Or start drinking hot water throughout the day, right? Why? Because it's a fire starter, sipping on the warm hot water. Or do your meditation. Yeah. Why? Because this is a fire starter. It burns through all the dross in your system. The psychological and the emotional dross that kills your hunger for life. So we talked a whole lot about the tricks for boosting your Agni in the last Ageless Vitality training. So go back,
have a look,
because they're just some of them, and there's a whole lot more in them. Because whenever you get your physiological hunger back online, that is your digestive fire back online, then the more you are going to get hungry for life again, right? So you want to be hungry for life, but you want to be connected to your own physiological hunger and make sure that it's true hunger. And here's the thing, like the ancient teachings tell us, I think those of you who've worked with us have heard us say this a few times. When your Agni is strong, when your fire is strong, when your hunger for your life and food is strong, you can eat rocks.
That's right. That's right.
You can eat rocks. What that means is you can eat whatever you like. You can. So the first question you need to ask yourself, and be really honest, is how hungry am I? Yeah.
So, of course, we can take it from, and we're yoga teachers, we're not nutritionists, we haven't got degrees in any food technology or understanding like that. But we're telling you about how you need to be able to have your belly switched on so that you can digest the food. And the way that you do that is by having that fieriness of your belly so that you can actually use the food you need, assimilate the food you need and eliminate the food you don't. I knew I had those.
Yeah. Assimilate and eliminate. Yeah, we love those words.
And that's the way that you can support your belly. So how well are you digesting your food? And in fact, keep it super simple. Ayurveda is really, really simple. You know, we're not talking complex ideas. Do you feel the hunger reflex? So that's really what it is telling us about. It's so simple. Do you actually feel that little tiny feeling in your belly to ask yourself if you're hungry? All right. In the Western world, honestly, you know,
we are so often prompted to eat when we're not feeling hungry. There's so much food around. Probably none of us here are in the situation where we don't know where our next meal's coming from. We have enough food. If we lived somewhere else that were, not quite so bounteous with their food supplies, it's a driving force of your daily life is to find enough food. But because we have a plentiful supply here in the West, we've kind of got a bit disconnected from that hunger reflex. It's not really a daily issue. So Christina mentioned it as well. We've got that real little physiological feeling of hunger, but then we also have that soul hunger. We want to be living in harmony. We want to live our lives with love and joy. And sometimes there's a disconnect there. So we feel like there's a hunger for things that we perhaps don't have. And so of course we talked about Agni in our last meeting together, and that's your being able to tune into your hunger in your belly. But then of course you're looking for that reflex about, do I actually feel hungry? And so because we've got plentiful food, we actually use food for some other reasons. Now, you might be able to sit there and think, actually, I use food for some other reasons. What might you use food for? Have a think to yourself. Maybe you're bored.
Yep.
Maybe you didn't get something that you were hoping to get.
Yep.
Disappointment. Maybe you think you're tired.
I was, when I wasn't sleeping well, I was using food. I was afraid that I wasn't eating enough calories, so I wouldn't sleep very well and I'd wake up hungry during the night. So I was like eating food out of fear that I wouldn't sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
so,
right.
there's a whole lot of, it's a complex kind of.
Especially because, and it's complex because we've lost that actual reflex of our tummies. What do we say down here? Okay, so that's right. So maybe when you were little, think back to when you were small, or you might even be doing it with your kids or kids but when you were small, if you had a disappointment, maybe you got given a lollipop or something like that, or maybe you were told that you needed to eat everything on your plate because there were hungry children in Africa or something.
That was me.
That's right. Not that I knew how the food from my plate that I didn't eat was going to go to the. Anyway, too complex.
I know it was, but you got that too, Funny.
Yeah.
No, those starving children, we really.
Yeah, that's right. But then we probably got some conflicting things like, as a woman, maybe you're not supposed to be too hungry. I know in Shakti school, Katie talks about the movies. In the movies, if you're going on a first date, what do you order? It's not ribs and a pizza and a pint of beer. Oh no, I have a salad and a white wine, thank you. She said actually, if you order those other things, it's more likely to be a comedy.
Yeah.
So we're getting a whole lot of influences from outside ourselves as well. And so from that's really given us that disconnect between actually what we might be feeling about ourselves and our actual physiological hunger and actually what we might be putting in our mouths. Oftentimes, and I was one of those people that I really never felt hungry. Really just food was just always plentiful and you just stuffed it in and you ate because of timing. Some people say, well, it's 6 o'clock and that's dinner, so you need to eat now. All sorts of reasons for eating. And if you're at home watching this on a replay or in the chat today, we'll just take a couple of minutes and just write down about what you remember about, or what even might be happening for you now about what food is, whether it was a punishment or a reward.
Yeah, when you were growing up, or a source of stress. I even remember in my household, because a single mum raising us, that you ate all the food. day 3 and it had to last 7 days, you know.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, that's all that conditioning is on top of us. And but the good thing is, as we're going to talk to you today, is that really we might be at that certain point, and it's a continuum, and we're not always in the same spot. But on that continuum, we can actually re-engage and find. We can find our hunger reflex again.
Yeah, but it's really important that you understand, like, as a child, was your hunger reflex squished upon or overindulged? Or, you know, how did that use of food as a reward or a punishment? You know, some children had to sit at the table until they ate all their dinner.
Or got it served up again for breakfast.
Yes, that's definitely a punishment.
My husband talks about his experience with Brussels sprouts. That was a punishment experience. And you know, as we're talking, it's so far away from what food's about. Really, food's about nourishment and getting a sensation of being full or being empty, you know, of actually nourishing yourself with food. And I think that,
yeah, and coming to understand what your needs are, and then understanding that maybe as a child, through the way that food was managed in your home, a reward or a punishment or even a form of control, right? Like, I'm going to control how you eat, that wires your relationship to the hunger reflex, or even actually just obscures it. Because you actually, if you're eating because someone else is telling you need to eat, then you're not in connection with your hunger reflex. Yeah,
that's right. Or if you're being denied some food and then you get it, you're not going to take just one, you're going to really pig out, you know. And that's one thing I learned as well, you know, that used to be pancakes. Like, we didn't have pancakes very often, so when you had them, you ate far too many, and you could kind of had to think back and say, actually, well, you can have pancakes again tomorrow and the next day and the next day if you really want to. Don't have to eat, you know, 5 of them when 2 would have been enough.
Yeah. So take a moment to just consider whether you were rewarded or punished with food, and share your thoughts in the chat and let people understand kind of what your experience was with food. You can pause this and take as long as you want.
And of course, it's not usually just single thread stuff. It's usually quite complex. It's probably some layers of things in there too. So might just take a little bit of unraveling to have a real think about it.
Absolutely. So then moving on from that kind of relationship of as a child, food was either a reward or a punishment. And you might even notice now as an adult that you might reward yourself with food.
I've had a big day. I'm going to have chips and a wine.
I deserve that packet of Tim Tams. Or, you know, or you punish yourself with food, like you deny yourself the food, or you beat yourself up when you eat the food. So how has that relationship between punishment and reward as a child transferred into your relationship with food now? Are you still punishing yourself or rewarding yourself with food? You're a good girl today at the end of the day, so have your dessert. Yeah. You know, and a lot of women that I work with are denying themselves food during the day and then rewarding themselves because they deserve it at the end of the day, and eating way too many calories at the end of the day. And the Agni chat we talked about yesterday, last month, talks about that stuff. So when you kind of move on from that, then the next sacred question you have to ask yourself is, am I able to feed myself? Yeah. Am I able to feed myself? So when your mind and your heart are kind of in love and aligned, then remember the ancient teachings say that you can eat rocks, but we'll just call it KFC. You know, you can eat KFC and you can turn it into useful information for yourself, right? But we're telling you, don't eat KFC. Do not eat KFC, right? But
that's an example.
But yeah, exactly. You can eat that stuff and it's okay. And I sometimes do. I'm actually thinking about getting Chinese takeaway on my way home tonight to supplement the chicken that's been in the slow cooker today. So So the sacred question, am I able to feed myself? And when we start kind of tuning into our own hunger reflex and our own relationship to food, like punishment or reward, then the next thing is tuning into that intuitive eating, which according to Ayurveda means respecting your own unique signals for hunger and fullness without rigidly adhering to any external food rules. Right. Drop the rules, drop the diets, drop the fasting, drop the I should eat this, drop the I should eat that. It's about listening to what you need and understanding when you're full, understanding when you're hungry. Okay. So authentic hunger cues like a growling stomach or a sense of lightheadedness, or hanger. I used to get hanger. I don't anymore. They guide us when it's time that we need to be eating. And we eat when we hear the cues, not out of habit or an emotional response. Okay. So here's the challenge. Because our intuition, right? We've got to be really clear on what our intuition is, because we can be sneaky little girls. We can be like, oh, I can convince myself. Oh, yes, I can. Oh, that I really deserve the packet of Tim Tams and the glass of red wine at the end of the day, because I've had a hard 6 months and today was an extra hard day and blah, 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 blah. And my body needs the Tim Tams and the wine. Or for me, it's more chips. I don't really like Tim Tams, but I love chips because the fat and the salt for my constitution are really grounding. So that's what I turn to, whereas the sweetness isn't what I turn to. So, and then you kind of say, all right, so that's my intuitive eating, but it's not, right? And then you think, oh, well, I'll start again tomorrow, because deep down in your soul that that wasn't an intuitive eating experience. It's not, when you're making those decisions, it's not your intuition that's guiding you. It's that lacking of fullness of spirit, potentially, right? That full soul-tuned spirit woman that you can become, right? So when you ask yourself the question, am I able to feed myself? Am I really hungry? And what am I hungry for? Then you're asking, what is the soul food that I need right now? What is the soul food? Am I actually able to receive pleasure, right? And love? Am I actually able to take in the reality of my life at this point in time, which is a really huge undertaking, seriously, like my life has been kind of full on the last few months, and you know what? Have to take it all in. And so when you are going to approach intuitive eating from that soul place, connecting to your soul hunger, to your intuitive physiological hunger, pause for a moment before you eat and connect with yourself and connect with the room, right? You can sit on your couch, you can sit in the backyard, you can lay on your bed, you could sit in the car when you get home before you get out of it, yeah? And don't pick up your phone. Put phone in downward facing phone pose and look around. And as you sit, take it all in. Pause and take it all in and feel into where you are right now. And some of the stuff you feel into, you're going to not like. And some of the stuff you feel into, you're going to like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay. All you have to do is see what's inside yourself and outside of yourself in this moment and let that all wash into you so that you get that full extent of that physical and spiritual nurturance, just sitting for 2 to 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be long, to feel the weight of your body, to feel this thing and that thing, and just to let it all in, let life in. So, and this pause increases, it's scientifically proven to increase the enzymes in your mouth and improve your gut microbiome, right? So that's how you digest stuff. So it increases the power of absorption, of digestibility, and moves you into your parasympathetic nervous system. It moves you out of the stress of the day, because it's the stress of the day that's informing the non-soul food decisions, right?
Yeah.
So then when you're eating, you get to make a different decision. Yeah. So you might have thought, I want KFC, and the craving for the chicken and the potato isn't a bad thing, right? But maybe what your body needs is you to come home and get a chicken breast out and cook the chicken breast with some nice herbs, and put some potato on the boil and mash it up with some ghee and some salt and some turmeric and some other herbs, and then make some gravy and eat the mashed potato and the chicken. So, and then you get to sit in gratitude that you get to eat that soul food, right? And you take that food and you put it in your mouth, and it becomes you, right? Your body digests it and assimilates it, and it becomes you. So you say, thank you that I get to do this, right? The intuitive eating. Thank you that I get to nourish myself with soul food. And it doesn't matter whether you're vegan, you're paleo, you're whatever, it doesn't matter. It really does make a difference when you sit down and you pause and you're in gratitude for the food that's being ingested. So when you pause and slow down the eating, then you start to notice, like, what do I really feel like? What am I really hungry for when it comes to physiological hunger? And then, because your body, there's some research out there that says your body will choose the foods that it needs. If it's lacking in some vitamins and some minerals, it will choose the foods that it needs for you to be nurtured. But then you also pay attention to how your body responds after you've eaten the food. All right. I always, I get hangovers after drinking wine. So, so it's a kind of a dead giveaway.
I was going to say, is that a hint?
Yeah. And doing that builds your ability to attune to your hunger reflex, but also attune to the food that your soul needs. So you might find when you pause for that 5 minutes, to feel into what it is that you really want when you have the urge to drink the wine or eat the chippies like me, right? Is that you may be longing for comfort or love or grounding or relaxation
or warmth.
And so then the question becomes, is there another way that I can fill that need? Is there another way that I can find love in this moment? Yeah.
Or is this the best way?
Yeah.
Is there another way? Yeah.
So there you go. Tuning into the intuition.
That's right. So we're kind of thinking in now to come back to that real physiological, your actual physical hunger. And one of the words we can use about feeling full is called satiation, or to be, and that's a word that not very many people know. And when I was reading about this to talk to you today, I really thought, well, satiation, maybe because in our society we don't ever talk about being satiated, because we eat to finish the plate, or we eat to finish the packet, or we eat because we're on the run and we've got something in our hands as we dash out the door. So do you ever feel that little growl in your belly when you're hungry? Yeah, I'm starting to now too. So some of the time, and for sure, I actually ate before we did this call together, because I'm going to do a meditation class just about straight afterwards, and I'm thinking, by the time I finish, I'll need to, I'll be feeling hungry. So actually I ate before. And of course, we're making those decisions all the time.
Yeah.
We're living in the world. We're not living in a bubble where we can just eat as we please, when we please, because we've got things to do. But it was a real time to say, well, do I feel like a real meal, or do I just want some toast, or do I want something a little bit more substantial than that? And so I knew that I was actually feeding myself for maybe about now. I was probably going to, yes, we'll be going for about 40 minutes. So I probably was going to be starting to feel a little bit lightheaded, or a bit, I feel when I don't have enough food, I feel a little bit sort of unwell, like I'm getting a cold or something. But then if I eat some food, I know that I'm going to be feeling a bit better. So when we're looking at this, one of the things, of course, is that when we've thinking, am I talking about this? Yes. So we're talking about feeling that impulse before you eat. Don't know, we didn't really talk about it, but maybe are we going to talk about this, the tummies, about the size of your fist?
Yeah. Well, the two
Andane. So, but what happens is that if you eat more than you really need to, your tummy gets extended. And then all of a sudden, as it shrinks back just a little, you're getting the hunger sensations, but you're not really empty. You're not really at the point of needing it. But it's that sensation of feeling like, oh, my tummy, my belly, my stomach is contracting, and I really need to eat something.
Yeah, so that whole when we tend to overeat, we are stretching the stomach, and then we are killing the hunger reflex, right? Because like Audrey said, you think you're hungry, but your stomach's not empty. It's just kind of shrinking back to size, which is why we recommend eating to 75% of the capacity of your stomach, which, for me, I was like, whoa.
In saying that, though, of course, we're all different. And, Christina and I quite different in how we want to eat and what we want to eat. And that's because of our constitutions and the way that our constitutions are made up right at this moment. And so when you're working with us, you will have figured out that you've got some of the doshas and more strength than others. And so, for example, if you've got a lot of vata, which is the airiness of your constitution. How's that working out for you, Christina?
Yeah, I've got a bit of it. So, see the skinny long limbs. Yeah.
And so Vata people shouldn't go too long without eating.
Yeah.
Have you found that out?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
They kind of start to feel their hunger quite quickly, and they kind of feel it as low blood sugar, so they're kind of feeling a bit spacey, a bit airy. Yeah. So like what did we say? Yeah, so like, oh, I'm a little dizzy, I'm a little bit weak or tired, whatever that can be for a Vata person. That can be a hunger signal. And
when I was in the peak of my Vata, I wouldn't actually ever feel hungry. Like, it was the tiredness that I was like, oh, what's going on? I'm collapsing on the couch. I've got no energy. So yeah, it was the tiredness that would alert me to the fact that I needed to eat.
So you weren't actually getting that, I'm putting my fist down my belly, so you weren't getting that hunger signal from inside.
No, it was
yeah, sometimes I don't either, and it's more like, for me, it's that, I don't, I feel kind of like I haven't quite got enough oomph to keep going.
Yeah.
So then Pitta people, and they are more fiery, and we're all mixtures of each one of them. They might be getting that hangry vibe going on, a bit irritable. Oh, I'm hungry, they might be thinking then after that. And then if you've got a little bit more of the earthy, watery, kapha kind of vibe going on, you might be people who are people that actually sort of tend to go towards food all the time, and actually something like an intermittent fasting might be actually something that works best for you. But like my client yesterday, I'm certainly not going to be recommending intermittent fasting for a Vata type personality, or someone who's got a little bit more Vata going on in their body. And Pitta people don't really do very well with fasting either. remember, of course, that we're just giving you ideas and thoughts, and it's, we're just coaching you along this path. It's an individual path that you get to explore. So some people say, well, I'm always hungry. I'm always hungry. And I think that goes back to what Christina was saying, is that that's the time to be a bit more self-reflective about what's happening in your life. I'm always hungry. Maybe that might mean you're always a little bit bored. Don't really know what to do with yourself. You might be, I don't know, that 3 o'clock. I've got a lot of work to do, but I really don't want to do it, and I've got to get it done before 5 o'clock. I'm a bit bored with what I'm doing. I better have a snack bar and another coffee or something to keep me going. I feel a bit hungry maybe. But maybe it's not bored at all, but maybe they're pissed off with somebody. They're just annoyed.
Yeah.
Somebody has just got in their face, or there's that new emails arrived, or the kids have got home from school, or there's, another letter from the teacher about something that you don't really care about, or whatever it is.
Do you want to hear a funny story? I
Go
just
on.
had a memory.
Go on.
So when I went to my sixth form ball, which is year 12, I think, so the boy that I went with, he wanted to dance with me, and I was very unimpressed. Anyway, so I came home and I was so annoyed that I ate a whole lot of chocolate chip cookies.
Really?
Yeah, so there you go.
Okay, so
you do eat when you're annoyed. I'm testament to that.
yeah. I suppose it's a real catchphrase these days to say emotional eating, but that is the kind of thing that we're saying, is that, see if you can take that moment or two. I just saw my watch. Maybe, even if you're feeling like, I've got to have something right now, maybe you can just set your watch or your phone for like just 1 minute. Could you just pause for 1 minute, or maybe press repeat and then it makes it 2? Could you just pause from this kind of unthinking eating, isn't it? Because that's the great thing about Ayurveda and the work we're doing, is that we want you to eat and be nourished. So it's not saying don't eat at all. It's just saying, what is it that's going to nourish me and feed me right now? So yeah, just noticing those signs of authentic hunger. And we have touched on it before, but as women, we come under a lot of pressure about food.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure about what we should be eating, what our girlfriends are eating, what our mothers ate, what's good for us, what's whole, what the latest trend is, that was cucumber. I shouldn't have had cucumber. What's the trend? Should we be fasting? Should we be, I can't even think of all the different types of diets they're supposed to be. And we're kind of under all this pressure to be doing the things right, so kind of suppressing and repressing ourselves and not really checking in with ourselves to find that authenticness. And back to that, you can eat rocks. If you've got your system working well and you're feeling like you're nourished, you're working, your life is kind of working in the right direction, and you feel like everything's going well, you can eat. And I mean, we all go out for dinner, we all go to friends' places, we all snack on something, we all grab something when we're tired or busy or whatever. We all do that, and there's no problem with that whatsoever. But we're looking for a generalized trend in the right direction of noticing that hunger.
Yeah.
Not eating when you don't need to, when you don't have that hunger reflex. Trying to find that tiny little bell in your belly, whatever it is, that goes, oh, I might be hungry. Yeah.
Versus that I'm pissed off, I'm bored, I'm stressed, I'm sad, I'm whatever else. Yeah.
And the challenge for you right now is, I'm not sure what time of the day, if it's coming up to dinner time here for this live, but if you're watching this as a replay, can you pause for your next, the wind's changed, pause before your next meal, or before you grab something else to eat, and just ask yourself today, right now, in the next half, 3/4 of an hour, am I hungry? Just check in with yourself. And if it's not food you're hungry for, because we can be hungry for all sorts of things, can you nourish yourself in a different way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe even go on and do it during the rest of this week. Let us know. We'd love to hear how you're going.
Perfect. So here's the thing, right? When we learn about our hunger reflex, we're learning about it from the people who fed us, right? So rewinding back to when you're a child, we'll skip back again to that age. The people who fed you are the people who taught you about your hunger reflex. And so both my parents were quite different, but I remember that my mum and my neighbors were always on diets. And I went on my first diet when I was like intermediate, like hello, 11 or 12, and with girlfriends, because they were doing diets as well, right? So that's very young. So we learn about our hunger reflex from the people who fed us. So take a moment now and think about who the first person or the first people were who fed you. You know, think about what their relationship was to their own hunger signals. So Audrey's just said, you know, if you had a Vata mum, then she might not have felt hungry, you know. So Vata mums don't really eat, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to pass out, and we binge. Or Pitta mums are like, eat it, you know, we need to eat a regular every kind of 3 or 4 meals a day kind of thing. And then the Kapha mum can just
probably feed you all day.
Yeah, feed you. Shit, be rewarding with food, right? They'd be like, oh, seriously, my nana, my nana Joyce. Oh my goodness, there was always, we joke now that if you went to visit Nana Joyce, there would be a whole loaf of salmon sandwiches made up just for you to eat all of them, followed by ice cream and biscuits and all. Like seriously, my sister and my cousin came back from a visit to my nana's and both threw up. They were so overfed. Yeah. So what was their relationship? The person who fed you or the people who fed you, what was their relationship to their hunger signals? And then just think about that and write it down and maybe share it in the chat, or in your next wellness coaching session with Audrey or myself, talk about that relationship that the people who fed you had to food and their own hunger reflex. Do you have, you know, like you already mentioned, there were, you know, people in certain families that you had to eat at a certain time, like dinner was at 6 o'clock when dad got home, or both of us had you have to eat everything on the plate
because he's starving orphans in Africa or something.
Yeah. You know, well, it was interesting because it was like that when my father was at home, because that was, you know, we had to eat at the table like Princess Diana, Lady Diana, and eat all of the food on the plate. But then I think when dad wasn't at home and it was just mum, which was quite frequent because he traveled a lot, I don't really remember a lot of structure to eating.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think we didn't have a lot of money, and so I don't think we had a lot of food. So some of the eat up what you've got was perhaps because that was it, you know, and so there wasn't going to be, you know, there wasn't the extra anything really to eat. So you kind of, it was regularized from dad going to work probably and coming home and that kind of stuff, I think.
Yeah. So that relationship. So, you know, my mother and the neighbors, the female neighbors who were very important role models in my life, you know, and drinking too much alcohol, you know. So there's just that relationship and understanding how they were with food. Like if you had a Vata mum, she probably forgot to feed you, right? Because she's forgetting to feed herself. Or if you have a Pitta mum, then she probably had pretty regimented, structured meal times, and meals were planned, and you probably got some pretty good nourishment. And then the Kapha mum, food might have been a reward, or you might have been overindulged and overfed, and there might have been, you know, the donuts and the chocolate. Like seriously, Nana Joyce's house. Like,
I wish I had Nana Joyce.
Chocolate biscuits for Africa. Like seriously, if she was making you a roast, you were like getting well fed. I promise you. Yeah. So whatever it is, like take the time, write it down, and then just remember that it's not good and it's not bad, right? It's just real. So that age between up to age 7, like there's that quote, show me the boy at 7, I'll show you the man, right? Neuroscience is showing us that that time is really the time that we're encoding most of our information, but particularly the primary urge information and hunger. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food, sex, toileting, shelter is right at the bottom. Like it's a primal need that you need to satiate, you need to not be hungry, you need to be able to know that you're going to eat to survive, and water. So that's encoded in your family by the age of 7. So and it's informing how you are today, like it or not. Like it or not.
Yeah.
So the best cure for any disease is our awareness of our own hunger, right? Our own hunger reflex. And that's why it's not so much what you eat, it's asking the question like, can I digest it? And knowing the stories of the people in your life who raised you and that have contributed to your ability to digest and have a hunger reflex is really important. Yeah.
So, you know, we've sort of touched on some of the things that are different in our bodies because we have different constitutions. And although there's sort of, you know, we say there's this type and that type, we're all a mixture of all of them. And I suppose so the 3 types of Pitta, Kapha, and Vata. Then we've also got the idea that we're thinking about nourishing ourselves and feeling that hunger reflex. And is it food actually that we're hungry for? Because we've got all those other things in our life of love and connection and being in nature and feeling relaxed and enjoying music and art and being creative ourselves and all those other things being active. So it's kind of choosing the right path for you, just not about your hunger, as in what food I'm going to eat in. So and it's the relationship with all those things together, because we're not just sort of single stream or single thread people. We have all those things going on with us, and we may be different in different circumstances. You know, when we went to our nanas, we're perhaps different people than we were when we were at home. I'd probably be a different person if I went to your nanas.
Seriously, I promise you would have been. Now I've done a funny thing with my head.
It's hard looking at yourself, isn't it? I've got
reverse.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So so in general, a kapha type of metabolic system, you know, you're going to be you know, they tend to run on the food that they ate before. So, you know, actually a kapha person doesn't need to eat quite as much as if you've got more of a kapha constitution. You know, and some of the food that they eat will stick around a bit longer for them, because of course they're enduring people. They're not like a pitta person who's perhaps a bit more fiery, and the food that they eat is going to actually go through their system a bit quicker, and you know, have a need to eat maybe those 3 solid meals in a day. And then, as we talked about Vata, perhaps forgetting to eat, but actually their constitution works well pretty much on having smaller but more frequent meals.
Yeah. And the kaphas, that 1 to 2 kind of, they can get away with fewer meals.
That's right. They kind of go, oh, I didn't eat dinner last night, did I? Did I have breakfast this morning? Okay.
Doesn't matter.
That's right. They'd be feeling fine about that.
Yeah.
So in Ayurveda, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to anything, especially not your hunger reflex. And that's what we're all trying to think about today. And all the examples that we're giving and the talk that we're giving about this is for you to kind of find those little flash points that say, oh yeah, I was a bit like that, and oh, I'm like that at the moment. Or, you know, to find out and realize, I mean, you might be super cool at feeling that hunger reflex, but in general, often many of us are sort of disconnected, I suppose is the word, disconnected from that hunger reflex.
Absolutely.
Actually, this I was just going to read you this little bit because made a wee note to say there's a little kapha story here. So, if you have some kapha people over to eat, and they can easily eat to excess, and often crave heavy sweet foods, junky foods, even initially. So that they've eaten and eaten, what will then happen? They flip. And you might find that too in the way you eat. That so if you're a kapha person, you may be eating all those heavy, stodgy foods, eat and eat and eat, and then you've got that little, oh, you don't feel so well, and you kind of flip, and then all of a sudden you might be eating things that are quite different. So they're really trying to get a green taste, so like a wheatgrass smoothie or something like that. And then they're really wanting the airy, light stuff of popcorn or salad or light things to balance out all that heaviness. And that's quite a good story for us all, because it's in those moments maybe of excess or excess fasting. If fasting's not your thing, you might find that you actually flip and go to the thing that you actually really need. And so you're trying to find through the habits you can reflect back on and the things that you're going to ask yourself now before you eat. Are those things, oh, oops, I'm supposed to water my garden. Crikey, sorry about that. I'll do that later on. Asking yourself those things to see if you can find a pattern, or to really get down to that moment of feeling that hunger reflex. Really, that's the thing that we're looking for.
Yeah. And
I was
going to say, I think the point is like so the kapha person will eat heavy food and sweet food and ice cream and donuts and eat it to excess, right? Because there's no kind of stopping, and they can, but they don't need it, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then you're right, they'll be doing the flip, and it's the same then when you get into the pitta constitution. They'll eat the food that's fiery and oily
spicy
and
oily
and
and then they'll swap to the sweeter food, won't they?
They will
to dampen that down. So I mean, it's you might have even noticed that in your life.
Oh yeah.
So that the pitta story then is about that, is that they'll be eating those spicy, salty, intense foods. You might be a great curry buff or those salted peanuts, or but then all of a sudden you're kind of going, oh, that's actually too much, and you have that realization again in your system, and then it comes to sweet. And those are the sweet foods that you'll be craving to sort of balance that out, because it's great that our bodies are actually so well attuned to themselves. It's just that our minds and our heads get in the way some of the time, because actually our body knows what it needs.
And
it's just all those things that we've been talking about have been kind of obscuring that actual physiological moment when we kind of go, actually, what do I want to eat? And instead of really having that mindfulness of being able to choose something that we really want to eat, we're kind of programmed to grab for snack foods, or open the fridge and graze, or whatever your thing might be. Eat popcorn,
or like if you want a sweet taste. So for people that are pitta, sweet is a good taste because it's cooling and it's grounding as well, but also sweet, like there's no bad taste. Like sweet isn't a bad taste. It's actually how then do you nourish the sweet taste within you. So you could reach for the ice cream or the chocolate biscuit or the cake, or you could reach for the date or the watermelon or something that's sweet still and cooling, but nourishing for your body and your soul.
That's right. So we've sort of talked about those the kapha, binging on the heavy stodgy things, and then needing to have the lighter, greener things. And then we talked about the pitta, so going for the real spicy, salty things, intense foods, and then needing the sweet taste to come through. So what about the vata people? So if you've got a vata type metabolism, and you maybe forget to eat and then you binge, you might like to eat popcorn, other light, airy things, I suppose, crackers.
I love crackers and hummus. Seriously, I love toast. Like seriously.
All right, and then of course the flip from the dry, and then you're craving something spicy, oily, and salty.
Yeah, I always want Indian.
Indian. Oh, okay.
Or fish and chips, you know. So that
Okay.
the chips, like I said, the chips are a real weakness for me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I prefer that. So for me, I prefer the like the fish and chips of the hot potatoey ones rather than crisps.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah,
Both
yeah.
for me. Doesn't matter.
Okay, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so some of those signals are then, you know, when you're aware of it, and I think that's probably the thing, is that, you know, we're asking you to bring your presence, your awareness, your sense of self into this equation. So instead of being, you know, driven by your past interactions with food or what emotion you're trying to deal with at the moment, we're asking you to bring presence to actually your body, the food choices that are in front of you, and taking a pause.
Absolutely.
And being able to then make a decision.
Yeah.
And like we're saying, no food's bad, no food's good. It's just using the food in its appropriate way to satiate your hunger.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then over that conversation we just had about the pitta, the kapha, and the vata, is then also being aware of your own tendencies that you will lean into. Because I'm a vata person, I am going to lean into food that is dry and not that good for me. So I can have that awareness then about how do I bring myself back into balance by choosing the food that can ground me. And it's like you said, add some ghee or peanut butter or something like that will ground me.
It's got some oiliness
to it, to the toast. So yeah, it's really an awareness and a presence, and your hunger reflex is something you can attune back into, but you have to be patient with yourself. Yeah.
You know, it's taken me over 60 years to get to this stage here. So anything that was back in my pre-teens, you know, it's going to take a long time. If I've been continually, you know, working down one particular path, it's not going to change overnight. But awareness and trying to get back to balance. And I mean, that's the wonderful thing about your body as well, is your body's always seeking balance, homeostasis. It always wants to be in alignment with itself. And so this is a way of using all the techniques that we know as people, that we can be thinking about our ideas, and use our thoughts and our brain power to actually bring ourselves back into our bodies again.
Absolutely. And get that hunger reflex going. So spend the next month listening to, taking the time, pausing before you eat, noticing that the hunger cues, or seeing if you can notice the hunger cues, right? Because you might say, but I don't have any hunger cues. So start paying attention. And here's a good thing to kind of recognize, is that you really shouldn't be feeling any hunger cues for at least 3 hours after your last main meal. So it takes 3 to 4 hours to digest the food. So you won't be feeling hungry after a meal for at least 3 to 4 hours, typically. So
that's a good cue.
It's a good cue. Like and I've been using that myself, you know. Okay, but also too, thank you, Ayurveda cleanser that I just did. I've attuned back into the hunger cues. So take the time, listen to your hunger cues, explore the hunger reflex. Thank you so much for joining us today. Take care.
Go well. Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.